sharing with you the process of morning meetings. And as you can see on the table, I've gathered a few things that I'll share about. Really, your particular process for morning meetings is individual and personal to you, so it can be as complex. It can be an empty table, or you may have multiple things that are surrounding you. Really, the most important thing is that you be comfortable and it reflect that intention of connecting with your guides. So for me, I've got a couple of different oracle cards that I enjoy using, and so I have my options always available. So that way, once I've gotten started with my meeting, I don't have to stand up and move around. All of the things that I might possibly need or want to use to connect with spirit are already available to me. I have crystals, which I personally enjoy and like to be surrounded by, and each one represents a different energy or intention that I'd like to have supporting me at the time. Aromatherapy spray, that's a great way to increase the vibration of a space when you need to, particularly right before your meeting, and it also be very calming, centering, and focusing. So it's a great way that we can support ourselves also as we come into a space for clearing our mind. Timer. So your time may be individual to you. I always do 13 minutes, and that's my commitment to spirit. So every morning I devote these 13 minutes, which are sacred time between me and my guides for that communication. Your time may be shorter, so it may be anywhere from 5 minutes to, longer, more of a 25-minute time frame. It's really individual to you, so something for you to consider and ask your guides, what's the appropriate time for you? And you can always think of starting small and building up. The last thing, and one of the most important things that I have here, is a journal and a pen. And what I do when I get started is I write the date, which I think is very important, and also the year. And then I record, as I go throughout my meeting, any impressions, messages, and information that I'm receiving from my guides. Sometimes I may understand something the moment that it's delivered, and I can place it and I can write all those details and information down. And sometimes it's more vague and I'm not sure I can place it or understand it at the time. But I always go ahead and write it down. And what I find is that it's either relevant for some time later on that day, or it's something that comes up a few days from now. The great thing about having it written is it's a wonderful validation, so that you can always go back and see, look, here my guides were sharing this information beforehand. Isn't that wonderful? And isn't it supporting me in feeling that connection with my guides? So something that I really encourage. So whether your meeting takes place in a special place in your home, whether it takes place somewhere beautiful in nature, inspiring for you, always try and bring a notebook because it's so helpful in validation. So basically, how do we get started? The first thing to do is we're just creating that space. We've gathered all of the things we could possibly need for our connection. We close our eyes and just center. And as we do that, we're just creating that intention of clearing our mind, sending that connection out to our guides. And we're really just inviting our spirit guides and spirit helpers to be with us, to support us at this time. For me, I always ask if they can share any information, impressions that would be helpful for me in understanding how to best utilize the energies of the day, and anything else they feel like I need to know at this particular time. And then right after that, I just let go. So having that nice clear mind, begin to record information that I receive. You may have impressions that are visual in nature. You may have feelings or sensations. You may have clairaudience, which is where you're hearing either in a physical way where it sounds like something external, or whether it be sounding like your personal self-talk. So the voice that we use in our head when we're reading, in our mind, that particular voice. Sometimes we'll hear words that'll float across that way. The more proficient we are at clearing our mind, the easier it is to discern some of the subtle natures of impressions that we may be receiving. The more that you are creating this communication with your guides, the more that they're responding to you, the more that they're excited, the more that they're ready every morning, waiting for that morning meeting so they can share more messages. They always know when we have a regular pattern and routine of connecting on a daily basis with them that no matter what's going on throughout the rest of the day, they at least have, in my case, 13 minutes to share important messages with me. And I think that's really beneficial and helpful, even though they continue to communicate with me throughout the day. I'm always listening at that time, and that's really beneficial. So I hope you've gotten a lot out of our morning meetings, and I hope you enjoy this practice for yourself. Please let us know in the comments how your morning meetings go. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.